What in the world is Gavin Maloof up to right now? The former NBA owner of the Sacramento Kings tells us in a minute. Hello, everyone. I'm Jabari Young, senior writer here at Forbes. And again, in 1 second, I will be talking to Gavin Maloof, the former Sacramento Kings owner, talking about their playoff drought is over. Kings are back in the playoffs. The new Padel League that he's a part of, owning the NHL Golden Knights, and much more. Gavin Maloof right now. Gavin, thank you so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a minute since I heard your name, actually. I can't lie. And when I saw that you were investing in the Pro Padel League, I said, Gavin Maloof, what in the world is he up to? And then I look at the schedule of the NBA. The Kings clinched the playoffs, right? First time in almost 17 years. The last time that the NBA, the Sacramento Kings made the playoffs, you and your brother, your family were the owners. What's been going on, man? Let's start there.
Oh, well, a good friend of mine, Henry Strasser from Toronto, called me up one day and say, hey, would you like to be part of this Padel League? And I'm thinking, I said, well, first of all, what is it? And he says, well, it's a Pro Padel League. And I said, oh, it sounds interesting, and it's really kind of taken over the world. It's the fastest growing sport around the globe. It's huge in Mexico, Europe, South America, Spain. And I said, you know what? Let me see. And I took a shot at it, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, listen, something about sports ownership, right? So I'm not going to combat that too much. If you believe in the Pro Padel League, I'll believe in it. You know why? Because, listen, when I ask around people colleagues of mine in Sacramento, and I mention your family's name, I get a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But the one thing that I hear is they say, you know what? He knows that family, Gav, they know what entertainment is. They know how to bring the crowd out. I watched some highlights of the Padel League. I'm not going to lie. It looked like a steel cage tennis match at first, right? And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is this? But then I see that it kind of does look fun because the rules are different, right? Right fast, what is the business model behind the Padel League? Why should I or anybody else stop watching Netflix, Disney Plus, or anything like that and pay attention?
Well, first of all, we have recruited 500 of the world's greatest athletes to play the sport. Yeah. So this is the top people and athletes, male and female, in the sport, and they're just great players. It's like a racquetball meets tennis in a smaller court, and it's glassed in, but it's very, very fast. You can see the ball. It's exciting, and I think people will really enjoy it, and they have around the globe. Yeah. There's 28 million people that play and participate in the sport.
Let's take a step back right fast, man. And listen, congrats on the investment, right? For viewers, you purchased the Las Vegas franchise in the Padel League, and that's another acquisition for you. You have minority ownership in the NHL Golden Knights and what have you. But when people know the Maloofs, they're going to think about one franchise. Again, the Kings just clinched the NBA postseason for the first time in nearly a decade or 2 decades. What was the emotion like when that happened? Because, again, you and your family, you guys have had a lot of emotional ties to that franchise. Was it good to see?
Oh, yes. Incredible. I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for the community. We still have a lot of friends in Sacramento. We had a lot of great years. We had some battles with the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. And so, we really enjoyed ourselves. But you have to move on. So we turn the chapter, and we look back every now and then. I don't look back too much. I'm always looking forward, but I'm excited about the years ahead with this. And then even the Golden Knights, we're number one in the Western Conference, and I think we got another good shot at a title. Yeah.
I mean, listen, the Golden Knights have had its own success. But before we move ahead, right, stay with me in the past right fast. I want to flash back. 1998 is when you guys purchased the Kings, $37.5 million, 24%. It ended up being a $230 million deal plus that you paid for that franchise, and you flipped it for $500+ million, so you did make a profit. When you think about the ownership, 14 years you owned that franchise, you look at where NBA valuations are today. Do you kick yourself saying, man, maybe we should have held on to it a little longer?
Well, you can always look back. But at the time, it was the highest price ever paid or sold for an NBA franchise. Right. So, you can always look back. You can always question this. But again, like I say, I always move forward. because that's just the way you got to. It's water under the bridge. I'm happy for them. I hope they win the whole thing. I'm excited because it has been 16 years. It's been a long drought since they've been in the playoffs. So eventually a team's got to make the playoff.
Yeah. A friend of mine said, now that they've clinched the playoffs again for the first time, and my editor said, man, they've clinched the playoffs for the first time since electricity was invented, right? That made me laugh. But you can laugh too, Gavin. You can laugh too. The one thing is, he said, a colleague of mine, that now that the Kings are back in it, maybe the Maloofs, their era, people will completely forget about it, right? I've pushed back against that because, listen, when you think about the Kings, and I'm from Philadelphia, Gavin, White Chocolate, Jason Williams, he was talked about in barbershops across the United States, right? Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Ron Artest, they had some great moments. People forget because they haven't been relevant in a long time in the NBA, but you guys were the owners. Do you miss the celebrity? Do you miss the popularity that came with when you were at the height of being an NBA owner?
Well, we had a great time. When you're winning, it's fun. Yeah. When you're losing, it's not so fun. But we had a great time. We had great players, Mike Bibby, and they're all still, kind of friends of ours to this day. Ron Artest comes to my sister's parties, and we really, really enjoy him. And I'm really close to Mike Bibby and Peja and Vlade, and we had a heck of a team. We were this close to winning it all. If we got past the Lakers, then we were going to beat the Nets. That would have been the finals, but we'd have swept the Nets.
You say it with such ease. We would have beat the Nets. We know that. The Nets were stacked that year. What makes you so confident y'all would have beat the Nets?
Well, we were going to beat the Nets because they were no good. we were the best team in the league at that time. Yeah. At that time, our team was better than the Lakers. We had a couple of bad calls go against us, but you can't look at that. But really, the Nets weren't a factor. We would have swept them. No question in my mind. Yeah. But it was fun. It was great. And I've had a tremendous life. I have no regrets. And we've won the Rockets. We went to the finals with the Rockets.
And that's the year you couldn't get into the locker room, right? You were trying to get into the locker room to celebrate, and the security guard wouldn't let you in because you did not have a pass. What do you remember about that moment? What do you remember about owning the Rockets? Because if people forget your family owned it.
I can tell you, I was 24, still the youngest owner ever in professional sports. Yeah. At 24. Well, my dad had just passed away. So we played the Lakers as a 2-out-of-3 mini series. We split 1-1. I was in Los Angeles. I was in the stands, and we won the game. I run down to the court. The security guard stops me. She says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the locker room to see my players." She said, "Well, you can't get back there." I said, "Well, why not?" She said, "Well, because you can't get back there. It's security. It's walled off, and you can't get back." I said, "Well, hey, listen, I'm the owner." She says, "Yeah, and I'm the president. Get out of here." And she kicked me out of the building. So I never did get back into the locker room. But, back then, NBA was big. Yeah. But it wasn't like today. I mean, it was just coming a little bit. It was just on a roll. But it was kind of funny. She kicked me out of the building and never got back in.
Yeah, that was a fun time, right? That probably was an emotional high. But at 24, I would think that you probably didn't realize what was going on at that point. Again, the NBA was just coming. But that 2002 series against the Los Angeles Lakers, Game 7, double overtime. I mean, that was probably one of the best Western Conference series ever. And here you are, and you lose Game 7. What is that emotion like, knowing that you might not ever get back to that point again?
Well, it's devastating. I mean, you still you never forget it. I never forget it. It's always with you for the rest of your life, because it was a moment that we could have won the championship. I'm telling you, if we'd have beat the Lakers, we'd have won it. But that being said, it stays with you. You can't get it out of you because there was, the ratings were so high. Yeah. I mean, we had 17, 18 ratings, one of the highest ever. And, and then there was a couple of scuffles along the way with Rick Fox and our guys. So, I mean, that didn't hurt for the ratings a little bit, but it was just an epic series. And everybody still to this day, I remember that series with you and the Lakers. Yeah. Well, I remember it too well.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was rooting for the Kings in a way. Again, that was one of the best series that I've ever watched as an NBA fan before I was a journalist. But I cannot lie. Also, I was very mad at the Kings too, because y'all shipped us Chris Webber, because I'm a Sixers fan at that point, and it was a deal that I'm thinking at first, oh man, we got Webber, him, Allen Iverson, and y'all bamboozled us. What in the world, man? We did not get the C-Web that we thought we were going to get. When you go back and you revisit that deal, is there anything you would do differently about that?
No. Well, we love Chris Webber. I love Chris Webber. He's a great guy. But he was in the twilight, and he wasn't the same guy. He was in the twilight of his career. And, it's sports. You have to make tough decisions. And that was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to do, is to let and to trade some of the players, because you get so attached to them. There's only 14 of them, and you get really attached to it. But we always called the player before we let him go, or we traded him. We always gave him that courtesy, and we felt that long term we're all friends. We're still friends. I'm still friends with DeMarcus Cousins, and it just goes on. Life goes on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When you look 14 years, you said life goes on. You look back at that era that you had, that run as Kings owner. Is there anything as an owner that you would do differently as a whole? I mean, your brother's on record as saying the fact that when you guys were trying to get the arena built, that was a political bloodbath. You may have made some mistakes there in trying to maybe solicit money from the public. I know California is very against stuff like that. But if there's anything that you would do differently, because you talk to people in Sacramento, you get two sides. There's a side that may not remember the Maloofs, and they may hate that because they will think of you guys as trying to move the franchise. And then you talk to those people who says, no, they were good. They invested in the team. They loved being around. They were entertainers. They brought so much fun. But when you think about it as an owner, anything you would do differently?
Well, obviously, there's always controversy when you talk about an arena, and that's kind of what got us, is the controversy around building the arena and public financing. We were willing to do a public-private financing package to build an arena, but there was a mayor there that just didn't want to do it, and so we kind of got a little sideways, and that's how that. But it's always controversial, and we never wanted to move the team. We bought in fact, we bought the team, and then we sold it to a local group there, because for less money, I'll have you less money. So we didn't want the team to move. It's just we were left with very few options, and that was one of them.
Yeah. When you look at Seattle right now, is there any way that the team, that you feel like the NBA would return there? Because I know Sacramento was rumored to go there. You're in Vegas, right? Another hot market. We get to that in a minute, and you're involved with the Golden Knights. But you look in Seattle, you think there's an opportunity we'll see a team there before 2030 possibly?
Possibly in Seattle, yes. Vegas is getting pretty crowded. There's a lot of teams here, and we're not that big of a city. We're only 2.2 million people, locals. I mean, we get a lot of tourists, obviously, but you see what Seattle's done with the Kraken. I mean, wow. I mean, like, they sold out in like 30 minutes. So I think an NBA team would go well there. But they're a bigger city than Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I mean, we're growing, but there's always already talks of baseball coming. There's football here. There's hockey. There's women's basketball. We're getting inundated with teams, and now we got the Padel.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So I mean, there comes a point where there's too many teams. And for the market size.
Is it at that point now? Because I tell people all the time, I don't think the NBA needs a team in Las Vegas because they're out there every summer. But I understand it's the entertainment capital of the world, possibly. So I get why they would want to be there, though I just don't think it makes sense, just for me.
I think they would do well. I think, but you remember, I mean, there's rumors of baseball coming in. So there's another. See. What stretches is the corporate dollar. That's what's going to stretch. Because if you're a corporation, who do you sponsor? Do you sponsor basketball, or do you sponsor hockey? Do you sponsor baseball? Do you sponsor the Raiders? Do you sponsor the Knights? I mean, you can't sponsor all the teams. And there's not that many corporations here. There's casinos, but you don't want the casinos necessarily buying all the tickets because those are tourists. When we put the deal together for the NHL for the Golden Knights, my brother and I, the league wanted to sell 10,000 local season tickets. They didn't want tourists. I mean, you do want tourists, but we want a base and a foundation for locals. Right. That's what's important because if you have too many tickets, yes, and you want to get the local people involved in your team, and I think Bill Foley's done a good job of doing that, as we have of connecting the Knights with the city. And I don't think there's really a better connection of a team and the community than the Knights of Las Vegas.
Yeah. You hear so many. I haven't been to a Golden Knights game yet, but maybe you'll escort me to one day because I tell you, but I love hockey though. I'm from Philadelphia again. So the Flyers, Ed Snyder for me, the best owner that ever, that ever lived for me. You're my second favorite, Gavin. You're my second favorite. But Ed Snyder's my first. He's always gonna be my first. But I mean, hockey is just in Philadelphia. And I was at a Devils game recently and I just, I love hockey. What is it like in today's sports economy being an NHL owner, even at the minority level?
Well, this is a very special situation here because we went to the Stanley Cup our first year. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's ever happened. Maybe way back when the league was formed. There was
the Gavin Maloof touch because the Kings made the playoffs the first year y'all took over, I believe, right? So you can call it Maloof touch.
Yes, you're right. We've been in the playoffs. Every team that we've owned, we've owned three different teams: the Rockets, the Knights, and the Kings. And we've been in the playoffs about 90% of the time that we've owned it. Yeah. So but it was a special situation. And by the way, we're going to be in the playoffs, so reach out to me. We got a suite at center ice, so you're welcome to come anytime, and we'll go to the game. But it's exciting. You remember the Philadelphia playoffs? I mean, they're absolutely incredible, and I love Ed Snyder. Yeah, but God rest his soul. But
absolutely, that's not. Well, he was such a great dude. You mentioned the corporate dollars, right? Take it back right quick in Las Vegas, and I would think, as you were saying, and I'm thinking to myself, I know you love the NBA, you were owner, but I would be if you're an NHL owner now. Aren't you resistant for an NBA team to come up because that's corporate dollars that they could possibly take away from the NHL?
No, we're not resistant because we still have ties to the NBA in certain areas, and we love the NBA. We're not like that. If they want to come in, we'll welcome them with open arms. I'm just saying that the climate it starts to get a little tough when you got 6 or 7 teams that are splitting that dollar. Yeah. Because just like I say, even us. I mean, we have a skybox at the arena. We have one at the stadium. I mean, are we going to have one when the NBA comes in? Are we going to have one when the baseball comes? It starts to get thin, and there's a lot of games now. There's a lot going on. Before when I've always advocated a team in Las Vegas. I was really in the forefront of this whole thing because my brother Joe and I went and saw Gary Bettman when we sold the Kings. We went and saw Gary. We worked on bringing the Knights here for 4 years, and we got a hold of Bill Foley, and he came in. He'd never been to Vegas, but we got a hold of him, and together we put it together and brought it here. But it was 4 years to bring it here, but there were no teams, and so when the Knights came in, we made a connection, like I said, that was unbreakable, and it was incredible. And that was the first team, and then the Raiders came, and then the Aces came, and now you're talking about baseball coming, and now you're talking about NBA. There's a lot going on here. So I hope that the city can handle it. I know there's not a lot of people here. It seems like a lot, but those are all tourists.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you concern yourself with, again, because if you can't build that consumer base in your market, retention's not there, people are going to watch the games on your RSNs. It's a crazy thing. Speaking of RSN right now, you see what's going on, man. Is it scary at all? Bally Sports following bankruptcy, the whole model ready to kind of be upended. Is it scary if you were a team owner? Or you are?
Yes. Well, I've heard about it, and I can't really comment on that because I don't really know the ins and outs of that. But I hear that there's some problems there. So, I mean, it's definitely going to have an effect on teams.
Absolutely, man. That's a major revenue source. Your local revenue, your television revenue. I think that definitely changes the dynamics of things. But, listen, you're in the Padel League now. We've talked about it earlier. What's the business model? What do you got? How do you earn money from a league like this, especially trying to build up a consumer base who may not know that this sport even exists?
Yeah, Jabari, the sport's been around since 1969, and it's big in Mexico. This is my thought process. It's big in Mexico. It's big in Spain, Argentina. I just had my friend. He goes back and forth to Argentina. Says it's huge. There's 28 million people. It's big in Europe. It's big everywhere but the U.S. And why? Simply because it hasn't been here that long. We're just getting into the U.S. But we're going to have streaming to 100 million homes. So all of our matches will be streamed. And also, we'll have national TV for the final game. And I just think I played a lot of racquetball. I don't know if you ever played racquetball. I could never understand how that sport didn't take off because it was a tremendous sport. Well, padel ball is just like it, but it's a bigger ball so you can see it on TV. And it's fast. It's fast, and you have a male and a female on both sides. I think we can hit both audiences, the male and the female. I think that there's a lot to it, and what our job is right now is to make the awareness to the people on the street, right? To make sure that they're aware. But to my surprise, there's more people that know about it than I thought. And once when Henry, our main owner, talked to me, I didn't really know that much about it. Then I researched it and said, wow, a lot of people know about this. And I couldn't believe it. But we're just trying to get the word out. I think eventually it'll be a big sport. I don't know, it's not going to be NBA or anything, but it's going to be pretty big. Pickleball is getting big. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I do. And I was going to ask what the difference between listen, you got, first of all, it all looks like tennis, and I'm sure tennis is sitting at the top like, wait a minute, those are our children. We birthed pickleball. We birthed Padel League. But, it all is kind of similar. But what would you say the difference between pickleball, which is a growing sport, and the Padel League is?
Well, we're just a lot faster. I mean, if you watch some of the matches, and we're going to have. We start actually May 13th in Tampa. There's 7 teams, and if you watch the matches, you'll see how fast it is. I mean, it's a fast. They slam it, comes off the back wall. You can hit it off the back wall. You can hit it if it goes over the plexiglass. You can hit it back into the court. It's exciting. It's like tennis on steroids. That's how we describe it.
Tennis. I mean, listen. I love tennis, and if you say it's on steroids, and I definitely got to check it out. Is it a ticketing model? I mean, are you plan on making money as an audience factor there, or is it more just kind of revenue share from a media rights perspective?
Well, I think you have both. I think you have sponsorships, you have ticket revenue, and you have media. The ticket revenue is going to be a challenge as you go because more people will get used to it. More people start playing. We're just in the infancy, so we're just creating this league, if you will. Now, the league, the sport itself is like 50 years old.
Right.
So we're not creating a new sport, and we're not minor league. We're major league, and we're getting the best athletes in the world. We, from what they say, we drafted one of the best women athletes in the world. So, I mean, these are the kind of athletes that you have. It's fast, and you have to be in top shape. And also, Jabari, a lot of NHL players are playing it. Celebrities are playing it. Because, hey, what are you going to do? When you want to work out, you're going to go walk on a treadmill. I mean, how boring is that? Why not go to a padel court and play with your wife, your girlfriend, your friends, and then play against another couple? And it's a lot of fun. It's fast, and you can get a heck of a workout.
The cornhole. You have the cornhole league, which a lot of people thought would be popular, and it is. ESPN, has the games, and you can get used to it, but that's another one. But I seen that league kind of grow, and people were playing it in the parks. They play it on their patio, and so that they're already accustomed to that. How are they going to get accustomed to the Padel League?
To the Padel League, because, like I say, anybody can play, young, old, male, female. It's all encompassed. It's a sport for everyone. Anyone can play. It's exciting, and you get a great workout. And on TV, you can see the ball. It's like a tennis ball, but it's like rubber. But And it's just exciting. I mean, have you ever seen a clip on it? Have you?
I did. I watched it. Yeah. That's why I said it looks like a steel cage tennis match in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's why when we say it's tennis on steroids, because it's fast, but and then eventually, hopefully, there could be some wagering on it in the future. Who knows? But I think that takes the sport, because remember, we own the NBA. We also own the Palms. We had to take the Sacramento Kings off our sports book. And so betting on sports has come a long way. Now it's legal in most states, I guess, most all states, but that's where it's coming. So eventually, hopefully, we get wagering on the sport as well, and that's good. And just I think people enjoy seeing it, sitting down and watching a great summer day or during the spring. Like I said, we kick off May 13th in Tampa. All the teams will play against each other for that 1 year, and then we go back to our respective cities.
Nice. Yeah.
If you happen to be in Tampa, we'd love to have you.
Well, yeah, I might have to come down there, man, but I'm not playing, though. I can't tell you that. I'm not playing. I'll just watch.
Well, okay, you don't have to,
yeah,
you don't have to play, but you can watch.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
What's the Maloof family up to now? What are you guys doing? I mean, you mentioned you had the Palms, the real estate, the Kings, the Rockets, and now you still have minority share in the Golden Knights and now the Padel League. What else you got going on business-wise?
Well, I'll tell you what. We're really excited about this. The Tequila Comisario is the best tequila in the world.
Better than Michael Jordan's tequila? I tasted that. It was pretty good.
Well, with all due respect to Michael Jordan, he has a 126 gold and double gold medals. We won. We do taste tests against 42, Plaza Azul, Patron, Casamigos, and we beat them all.
Wow!
It is literally. I'll get you some if I'm allowed to, but I'll send. That's right, but it's unbelievable how great this product is, and our owner there is Steve Rice. We're part owner.
Yeah.
But I like our position where we are. We're not. I'm out front a little bit here because. I'm kind of a sports guy, so they wanted me to do this for the Padel League, and then with Comisario, I'm not running it, but I enjoy the people that are running it. Steve Rice is a tremendous person, and we got great things coming. That and then our drink aid, which is our hangover prevention drink, is on fire. We just got named the best product in the world by Bloomberg.
Nice.
So we're busy. We got a lot going on.
Well, Forbes got to stamp you. Bloomberg that's all right, but Forbes got to stamp you as the best product. And it's drink aid. I did look into this. The hangover drink. So after you get me drunk on the tequila that you give me right now, you're going to say, I got the cure for you because we got drink aid. I see what you're doing with the business model, Gavin. You're going to get them drunk and then cure them, right? That's what you're doing there.
We take care of all your needs here. I mean,
that.
You got this. We're one-stop shop. All you got to do is call me. We'll take care of everything. No worries.
Yeah. So what's going on with Drink Aid, man? What's that product like? Is it on the shelves? What's happening with it?
It's on the shelves. We're killing it in Nevada, California, Texas. We're with Specs, the largest liquor retailer chain. We're in like 6 or 7 states, but it's really great. You drink it before you drink alcohol, or while you drink, or after, and you wake up fresh.
Wow.
I got to send you a care package. I'm going to send you a nice
because now
care
I don't
pack.
have to drink coconut water, which is what I usually do, or just drink water at the same time. I could just drink aid on the side.
Oh, that doesn't work. None of that works.
Really?
No. So what happened was drink aid.
Wait. The coconut or the water doesn't. Because I wake up feeling fine after. You saying it doesn't work?
Well, it works, but it doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I will tell you what works is drink aid, and this product was developed by a doctor, and it was original for lupus. Mm-hmm. This formula. It just so happened that the doctor never drank alcohol. He was an MD, and he never drank alcohol. And one of the day, one of the founders, Parrish, gave his sister a bottle to drink, and she was in remission she's been in remission like 10 years now for lupus. It's all vitamins, it's all natural, vitamin B. Glucola, everything good for you. You drink that, you feel great the next day.
Wow.
I don't drink liquor without it. I'll tell you that.
What about if I mix tequila and a drink aid and just make it one drink? What will happen?
Do that.
You can? What's it gonna taste like? Kool-Aid, like on steroids?
It tastes like a limeade, a limeade. And then we have the berry, which has caffeine, and then we have the lime, which has no caffeine, lemon lime. It's like a lemon. We have the blue and the red. Okay, and it's great. I'll send you a package.
Are we sitting on $100 million company quietly here? Is that what you're just trying to tell me?
Well, we hope someday, but yeah, it's great. I mean, we're doing very well with that, and commissarial is fantastic. I'm going to have you try that. You tell me what you think. But everyone that tries tequila commissarial says it's the best they've ever had in their life. Wow. I'm not kidding. Yeah. But we've won 26 gold and double gold medals. You don't win those medals with a bad product.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you don't. And listen, so you have the sports teams, you have the drink aid, you have the tequila, casino, hotel. You still in that business at all?
No, we're not. We're just kind of focused on. Believe me, I'm busy. Yeah. I got enough on my plate. I'm trying to. That's good enough for me for now because I got a lot of work to do. But I enjoy it, Jabari. I'm having a great time. I'm having. I'm not. 20 years old anymore, but I'm having a good time. I'm having great. I feel good. I'm healthy, and I work a lot, and I'm ready to work. And here we are with you, and I appreciate everything that you do with Forbes, and you got a great company.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Get you out of here. A few rapid questions. First, are you going to attend the Kings home game playoff games?
Well, I don't know. We got our own playoff games here with the Knights.
That's true, but Sacramento's right down the street. You can go check that out too.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see before I kill it. Yeah,
that's fine. The business lesson that you would offer any NBA owner coming in, today trying to get a franchise, what you've learned over 14 years running the Kings, what's the business lesson of being a sports owner in the NBA?
Well, the business resume is don't get involved in picking the players because you don't know. I mean, Joe and I would go to the camp and we go to Summer League, which we really helped propel that. Yeah. The Summer League, we were at the forefront of that. And we'd go and we'd sit with our GM and I said, God, that guy looks great. And the GM says, nah, he can't play. He's no good. so we learned way back when, don't get involved in the player decision. Leave it up to the GM. That's number one. Number two, don't cross the commissioner. Do what the commissioner says. The commissioner will lead you to the promised land. That's my second thing of advice.
Yeah. Well, when you look at what's going on now in the NBA, what do you see?
Well, I think league is growing fantastically. I mean, and you need a lot of money today. It's billions today. Where us was hundreds of millions, they're billions. But you just need a lot of money. But it's a growing sport. I think it's more competitive now than when we had it. We did really well because we made a couple of great moves, free agent trades. But a lot of times you got to build through the draft. I think that's always, sports is kind of like that. You have to, if you pluck every free agent, sometimes it doesn't work. Most of the time it doesn't work. You got to build through the draft.
Yeah. Your favorite all-time Sacramento King?
Oh, I can't say because I like them all. I like them all. I like Peja.
Top three. You could say them all, but you got to have three.
Well, I like Mike Bibby. Okay. I like Chris. I like Ron Artest.
All right. I like White Chocolate. That was my favorite player when he was with the Kings. Jason Wayans is a bad boy.
Yeah, White Child. They're all great. I mean, they were all very, very nice.
You were already involved with the NBA twice. You own the Rockets. You left that. You own the Kings. I heard a rumor that the Aces in San Antonio, was San Antonio, they moved out there, and I heard a rumor the reason why that was because you were partly behind the scenes and you had that happen, and then it was this rumor that you were going to have to start the NBA team out there. This was a couple years ago. Are you interested in owning an NBA team in Las Vegas if everything aligns right and you get the financing that you need to do it?
Well, I mean, we'd be honored. I mean, but I think anybody putting up that kind of money, they're going to want to run it. I just being real. But we'd love to be involved if they want us involved, and if they want to reach out to us, we'd be honored. But we're here, we're around. But we did a lot of great things with the NBA, and we always propelled that sport and we were always best practices, which means if we did something good here in Las Vegas, in Sacramento, then we spread the word to all the other franchises and vice versa. And that's kind of what we're doing with Padel. Anybody that does something good in New York or Miami or California, we all share best practice, because at the end of the day, we want the sport to grow, and that's our mantra.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last thing, man. Anything you want to say to the people of Sacramento now that they're in the playoffs? They should be happy now. They should be in a good mood. The drought is over, a very high seed. But again, anything, because they haven't heard from you in a very long time. Anything you want to say to them now?
Well, I miss all my friends in Sacramento. I love the city. We always have. We still have a lot of friends that come in to see me in Las Vegas, and win it all. I think get greedy. Don't just be happy to be in the playoffs. Try to win it all. That's my advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, they have Mike Brown, a very, very good hire, probably the best hire that ownership has made, and I'm glad to see it, because the NBA is much more fun when you have those small market teams like Sacramento competing, because we know under your ownership that franchise went to 300 plus consecutive sellouts when you guys were there, right? 5 times that they won 50 plus games, a Western Conference Finals. They have some success, and it's good to see that they're back in it.
And they're great fans.
And this has been fun. Thank you so much for the time, man. And again, congrats on acquiring the Las Vegas franchise and the Pro Padel League. Your work with the Golden Knights. Good luck to you guys in the playoffs. And listen, when you're ready to buy the NBA team in Vegas, just let Forbes know so we can, make sure the valuation is there, all that. Let us know.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you very much. And enjoyed visiting with you.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Gavin.